Trump campaign must confront the question, how do they turn the page from that debate? Now, he says that he won, but conservative pundits, strategists seem to think otherwise. Just look at what Karl Rove wrote in an op-ed for the Wall Street Journal. I'm quoting him. "There's no putting lipstick on this pig. Mr. Trump was crushed by a woman he previously dismissed as dumb as a rock," which raises the question, what does that make him? But my next guest thinks neither nominee won Tuesday's debate, and he's a familiar face on television and knows how this sort of thing goes. With me now, Bill O'Reilly, host of No Spin News and co-author of the brand new book, Confronting the Presidents: No Spin Assessments from Washington to Biden. Bill, good to see you here tonight. Thank you for joining. Listen, you said that both Trump and Harris had a poor debate. What do you make of Trump's decision not to do any more of them? Is that the right move?
For today, I guess, but I think he'll change his mind. First of all, thank you for having me on your program as coach. Very nice of you to invite me.
Thanks for coming.
I said that when you're assessing a debate like this, and you're going to say, well, who won? The American people should be the winners of all political debates. And that did not happen on Tuesday night. So neither candidate won the debate on merits. Mr. Trump allowed himself to be baited into talking about things that are totally irrelevant to our life in America today. I mean, totally. And the vice president simply wouldn't answer any direct questions. I mean, I listed them. I think there were 8 direct questions that she dodged and not answered. And unfortunately, the moderators did not hold the vice president accountable or follow up and say, as you and I would have said, that's nice, but you really didn't answer the question. So on that basis, no one won. The American people didn't win.
When you talk about the different areas you think that were shortcomings, to say when it comes to what was not being asked, and obviously, part of what's baked into the recipe, Bill, of a debate is not the granular specificity that I think maybe a white paper or a platform position would actually provide. But even though that's the case, what are the areas that you thought both missed some opportunities to demonstrate their command of an issue that the American public wanted to know about?
All right. I don't know anything about granular. All I know is that I've interviewed 5 presidents, and I would never let them dodge any question I ever asked. Period. Okay. I mean, and a lot of that is in my book, Confronting the Presidents. If I ask you, Ms. Coates, a question and you dodge, I'm going to say to the audience, well, you dodged a question. Do you want to have another shot at it? All right. And you know me. I mean, that's how I made my reputation. Now, the good question you just asked is, what were the missed opportunities? So Kamala Harris obviously is dubious to many voters, all right, because they don't know who she is. She doesn't do interviews routinely. Her people keep her away from all press conferences, any kind of unscripted event. Here's an unscripted event. That Kamala Harris said, look, here's who I am, and this is what I believe. It's not enough to say my values are the same. What values? What are you talking about? Is an open border a value of yours? Do you believe that foreign nationals should just pour in here and cause chaos? Is that a value? What happened to inflation? Why did it ignite so quickly? What kind of value is that? American working people are getting hurt. Those are the kind of questions that the audience, all 60 million of them, wanted to hear. Now, Donald Trump, for whatever reason, I don't know, and I know the man as well as anybody on earth. I wrote a book on him, The United States of Trump. I've known him for 35 years. He can't discipline himself not to take the bait. So the vice president baits him with, have you ever been to a Trump rally? People leave. All Trump had to say was, you would be lucky to have the attendance I have, Ms. Vice President, at my rallies.
Well, would that have been, but I mean, that would also take the bait as opposed to, I think, the focus. For example, she would put these little baiting moments and she would have them at the end or in the middle of maybe even bearing the lead around issues of substance that the electorate cared about. And then he would go on tangents, for example, about what's happening or purportedly happening in places like Springfield, Ohio. He wasn't just addressing the point and then being dismissive of it. He doubled down on a number of points, even when he was fact-checked by, for example, David Weir. So I wonder, is it worth it strategically to try to address every insult, or would it have
No,
been more disciplined to go and talk about what could have been the Achilles heels?
you're absolutely correct, 100% correct. Why bother with that?
She certainly
Look,
chose not to.
when you're asked a question about undocumented people causing trouble in the country, and you go into somebody's eating a cocker spaniel, that's a
Mm.
twilight zone. All right, that's where it is. All you do is go one name, Lake and Riley. That's all. All right. Then you go Aurora, Colorado. I mean, you don't go into the theater of the absurd, but for some reason, the former president likes that theater, and he loses credibility by doing that.
Part of this is all wrapped up into your book in part. I mean, your book is called Confronting the Presidents, No Spin Assessments from Washington to Biden. And in it, you confront really some of the more important, or really the most important moments and shortcomings. You were very critical, frankly, of the former President Obama, for example, but you recently said that Obama was the hardest working modern president, and you put him in the good category. And I'm curious, when you're looking at the landscape of it, what made you now put him in that category?
Because Barack Obama was one of the hardest working presidents we've ever had. And he is a sincere man. I dealt with him a lot. I interviewed him 3 times, and we worked together on Brothers Keeper. I know the man pretty well. Now, he made mistakes, as all of them do. All 45 men made serious mistakes. And Obama's big mistake was withdrawing all troops from Iraq and allowing ISIS to rise in ferocity. Now, he partially corrected that, because I wrote another book called Killing the Killers, where the Obama administration did finally wise up and go in and get them. And then Trump wiped them out. The Trump administration wiped ISIS out and really crippled Iran as well. But Barack Obama was a president who really tried to improve the country. I disagreed with him. I'm not a big government guy. I think he wasted an enormous amount of money. But I do believe Obamacare, in hindsight, if you want to be accurate, helped a lot of Americans and continues to do so. It might not be the way I would run it, because I want a smaller government, but there's no doubt that poor people in America benefit from Obamacare. That's the truth. And I'm in the truth business.
What's so fascinating about this book, and everyone should read it, Confronting the Presidents, is really the distance at which one's able to judge and assess a president and truly have a real understanding of their value and contributions to our nation. Maybe distance is required, and I'll see how the American voters view Biden and going forward. Bill O'Reilly, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me in, Ms. Coates. Pleasure.